ulikotoka, na mbona sasa unasema umechoka? Ama ushampata Casanova kupatia lishe bora. Kwanza nakumbuka tukianza vile uliniaibisha tutapendana forever. Na sasa ni kwa nini ukaniweka chini taka za jamii sasa unamwona hela.
The Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joe.
Kinga, nasikia tena ushapewa mimba, na sio siri tena, sio siri, sio nikiweza, sio siri tena, sio siri, siweza nikuweza, sio siri tena, sio siri, nikiweza, siri tena, sio siri. Mwanzo tulikuwa kwa ghorofa, mapenzi yetu ikaporomoka, baadaye ukanichoma, usikujua jua pia ni nyota, na ukweli sasa inaonekana, niliyempenda pia ameshanikana, nilimpea kila kitu, nikampenda kila siku, sheri akageuka mdanganyifu, maswali zangu hawezi jibu, Kipi sina, ni kama tena haunijui tena, haukujikinga, nasikia tena ushapewa mimba, siri tena, sio siri, sio nikiweza, sio siri tena.
Good afternoon, family. Grand Rising. 37 minutes past the top of the hour. Welcome to the Pan-African League. My name is Joby. To the first-time listeners on YouTube, Rumble Beaches. Yes, karibuni sana. Hope you guys are doing amazing. This wonderful Tuesday, wishing you a beautiful one as we start the day. Literally, it is 37 minutes past 12 p.m. right here in the 254. A very sunny day, and I hope you have a beautiful one on your end. As we literally see today, we have a meeting in the COP. This is the COP 30 regarding the climate change. So I hope they don't mess your weather as you literally get to enjoy your day. But karibuni sana to yet another beautiful conversation where we get to talk about the matters affecting Africans and the continent itself. And I was saying it's crazy yesterday because we barely have positive conversations coming from the African continent. Talk about actually leave alone the history. It's not like we don't have good things happening in the continent, but it's really very, very rare for us to talk about positive conversations coming from especially our leaders, our economy, our growth as a country, which I have an amazing videos aligned. Shout out to this amazing lady who's actually giving props all the way back to Burkina Faso and how there's so much inclusivity and development. Unlike what we've been seeing, the other mainstream medias have been trying to do like what they're trying to do in Mali currently, which is our conversation as well. We're going to be talking about how France has warned its citizens to leave the country as soon as possible. And this is because of the growth of the now killings of the innocent people, the citizens of Mali. The jihadists are completely and slowly taking back control of the country, and we know who is funding this, and we see why France is so much interested also in the conversation. Not any other country. It's not like the rest are not watching, but remember, France is one of the countries that were kicked out by the Alliance Sahel state, including their military and the UN itself. And also we see how these also jihadists are now completely also killing now TikTokers or influencers who are supporting the current leadership, who is Assimi Goita, literally of Mali. And we're going to be talking much more on that, on what is happening, as we also look at how literally we have the African Union also very much concerned about the security or insecurity rising in Mali as well. And they are actually asking the international agency and community to take over. Always the international people, right? Going to also talk about the COP 30, like I said, about the issues of climate change and what is happening today. I discussed lightly on that, which is so Bill Gates with his agenda towards Africa and Asia when it comes to farming, what is actually happening right now. We need to be actually very careful. We also have Cameroon, the opposition politicians who's demanding the release of protests. This is happening at the same time where we can see the abductions that have been happening from some activists coming from Kenya. This is in Uganda. Same thing has been happening in Tanzania, where most of the influencers and protesters were not only killed but also being arrested. So those are our top conversations for today. Karibuni sana once again. Feel free to engage with us in case you're on YouTube, on BitChute, on Rumble. Subscribe if it is your first time. Hit the like button, and of course, feel much more welcomed by downloading our app on the Google Play Store. Blackout Fire Network is the name where you can get yourself amazing supplements, all organic. We're talking about ashwagandha, multivitamin. We talk about beetroot, so much, and we talk about also skincare products. We have the aloe cucumber and the shea butter. And everyone shea butter, because remember 2 weeks ago I talked about how we have different types of shea butters from African countries, and not just different, they have different textures and colors, literally, which makes it super amazing. So if you get to our Ghana, which is where we have the specific museum of shea butter, go and learn much more. But for now, as we get started with today's conversation, I love sharing some brain and focus to keep your brain focused as you use some critical
Unlock
thinking
your
on the
full potential
conversations.
with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Like I always say, in case you have any question, kindly feel free to leave your questions under the sports page. We have an active chat on our show page, on our WhatsApp, or rather on our email, kcnewsam15@gmail.com. Once again, karibuni sana. As we get started straight away with today's conversations, we have the COP30, which is actually happening today. And of course, this is regarding the matters of climate change. Yesterday, I talked about Bill Gates, who actually raised concerns, or he's very much concerned about how Africa, what is the Africa's future when it comes to agriculture. And when you talk about actually the agricultural system or agriculture in Africa, this is something number one we'd say yes. African people are practicing this. Try to black out for ourselves. We're much involved in this, but this is knowledge that they have not only taken it away from Africans, but they have also taken complete control of most of our lands. Whereby, for example, Kenya, when we talk about the tea production, we talk about some cotton production, which is also very much active oil. When we talk about coffee production, we produce these commodities, but we don't benefit from them. These products, we don't benefit from them. We have to export them all the way to other countries for them to be processed and packaged and all that. Yeah, we can actually make it cheaper here in the continent. We failed to do that. So if you talk about actually address the Africa agriculture number one as a whole package, it's already in danger. But talk about the future. Are we really, do we really want to go to the future, like I talked about yesterday, of what Bill Gates was really talking about by him providing $1.4 billion? And the question is, number one, why today? Because he talked about equipping farmers with tools and technologies that they need to withstand increasing extreme weather. We talk about tools and technologies. Why haven't you done this for the longest time? Most of the African countries or people, farmers, are lagging behind because not having these tools or technologies on how they can make their farming actually go on a higher level. You've ensured this is not going to happen, and Africa remains always begging to white people or to the government, this system that you've created, to keep on begging you. And it's actually working. But today you come about now talking about how you're also thinking about the African future of agriculture. It's not even making sense. So going back to COP30, of course, he talked about on this image you can see, which I shared yesterday. He said that they're going to be discussing this on how the initiative is a target to small holder farmers who produce a significant share of global food and yet receive less than 1% of climate finance support. And by funding innovations such as the crop yield enhancement, digital advisory services, livestock improvements, and land restoration efforts, and the program aims both to protect livelihoods uh-huh, and to reinforce global food systems. So also adding that the Gates vision ahead of the COP30 climate negotiation, which is happening today, which I want to take a look what actually they're also discussing and how Africa is in danger with this, because we have our leaders who have gone all the way to Brazil, to ensure this agenda, which is part of their agendas, is going to actually be proceeded in most of the African countries, which is the target. So they're saying leaders are in Belém, Brazil, have urged decisive climate actions as COP30 opened with an urgent call for action, as leaders warn that the era of half measures is over. The UN climate chief, the UN, which is a big red flag as well, the UN climate chief, Simon Stilet, Simon, I'm not going to read the other name, that is so hard to pronounce, stressed the unity and implementation of a division, and President Luiz da Silva urged the countries to match opportunities with urgency and defeat climate denialism and reach 1.5 degrees Celsius despite the strong climate pledges from 113 nations, responsible for 70% of global carbon emission, and the current trajectory falls short of eliminating global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And quoting what they said, no national plan can solve this problem on its own, stressing that the country can afford the economic trauma of disasters that slash the GDP by double digits, and he urged worldwide corporations to phase out fossil fuels, triple the capacity of renewable energy, and mobilize $1.3 trillion per year for developing countries. Lula described this as a cop of the truth, as I quote, demanding a roadmap of demanding a roadmap to end fossil fuel dependence and announcing a fund to support energy transition in the global south. The summit held for the first time in its this is in the Amazon airs to center adaptation, indigenous leadership, indeed, and science as the world confronts the escalating climate emergencies. And of course, if I go very quickly to Google, let me take a look at which African leaders um, which African leaders which African leaders have attended the COP30. Which African leaders, the COP30. Let's see. Of course, Google can give us something. So we have the which took place in Brazil, of course, in November, was attended by several African leaders and high-level representatives. We have the chairperson of the African Union, of course, this is from Ethiopia. We also have President of the Federal Republic of that is Ethiopia. We have the African chairperson and the president. We also have the president of the Africa Development Bank Group. Come on. We also have the vice president of Nigeria, who was expected to unveil Nigeria's green transition roadmap and highlight the country's climate commitments. We also have the vice president for power, energy, and climate and green growth at the AFDB, who led the technical delegations throughout the conference and negotiations. So we can see we have literally representatives who, and probably we don't have much more details from that, but who have attended. So Africa is much involved in this, which is a very, very big problem. Like I said, at this point where we're really heading and what we even discussing yesterday, it's up to us for the masses if we agree to these decisions. That is going to be the problem. And slowly, actually, it's happening, because we're still talking about a system that Not only are we dealing with a dictatorship system, but a system that is actually showing you in front of your eyes, we're going to do it and there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to do it and there's nothing you can do about it. A good example is Tanzania, just what happened. Now, all of a sudden, we have African leaders calling out Samia Suluhu for what she's done. I mean, come on. That's a joke. Why didn't you call out this whole thing from the beginning when Tanzanians actually were raising questions and demanding answers why she's the only major candidate? Now all the African leaders are disagreeing about it. It's crazy. So all of them, this is part of them. This is some of the things, and of course why they want the dictatorship to also maintain in the African continent, because these are some of the things they want to pass, which of course majority of it also includes big capacity of lands. And then when people demonstrate about it, what do? They shoot you. When you actually demand answers for this kind of actions that your country is taking and making, when you're practicing democracy, try to Ruto, you know, all of a sudden you are a threat to this particular system. We have Cameroon opposition politician who is demanding the release of protesters. A little bit of highlight on what has been happening in Cameroon. Remember, we had demonstrations because people did not want Paul Biya back in power. We saw this man could not even go for campaigns. He had to use literally statues or puppet images to go and represent him. So the fact that people didn't want Paul Biya back in power, and of course the people also the youth themselves, they were the ones who were counting the votes, and they still went ahead and stole the elections because they want this dictatorship to start to be sustained in the continent because of some of those agendas we're actually talking about, the COP30. They want people and fools who cannot read, fools who can just do anything for the money, which is a system we can see collapsing. And that's why they are focusing so much in the African continent. So Cameroons took it to the street the same way we saw Tanzanians actually doing it, the same way Nepal did it, the same way Madagascar did it. And now we have the opposition politician, his name is Issa Chiroma Bakari, who has given the Cameroonian government a 48-hour ultimatum to release all those arrested by the police during the country's post-election violence. And Chiroma, who was a contestant in the election, claimed to be the rightful winner despite official, of course, because remember he was the one pronounced the winner, despite the official results declaring President Paul Biya victorious, and made the demand in a video circulated on social media this past Sunday. He says, "I will not and never lower my stance until my people are free," Chiroma said, and accusing the security forces of unjust arrest during the protest election. And the United Nations has reported the at least 48 people lost their lives in the violence, and with many believed to have been shot by police during the clashes with the protesters. Paul Biya, who has led the Cameroon for 43 years, was sworn in for a record of 8th term, extending his rule by an additional of 7 years. So this is the same thing. Remember, also they're trying to pass in Kenya. They want to change the years of how long you can run as a president, the presidential term, literally, because Ruto's trying to push it from 5 to 7. Number one, you've not even done anything for these 5 years for even to demand that you want to extend your time. So it doesn't really make sense. But the same thing is happening in Tanzania, because we've seen activists, protesters, people are killed. We're talking about thousands, not hundreds. Thousands of people were shot and killed. Others were actually even being released from their house and being harassed to say, claiming that Samia Suluhu is the victory and that they love peace. They don't want to demonstrate, being beaten by the police. So it shows you literally the dictatorship and how it's completely running Africa. It's crazy. Bakaribu sana kid. Good afternoon.
Santi Sana, Joby, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm all right. Early
Karibu.
today, ain't you?
Yes, I am on time. And because Kamlesh is not in, is off, so I'm on
All
time.
right, all right,
But
calm down.
but yeah, we're talking about Cameroon. I'm just from talking about the COP30 and looking at also how the Africans are rising, demanding answers for majority of the and accountability for majority of
They
the
might,
deals.
they talking about they want accountability. Talking about why? How we pour for all this time. We get the
A lot.
same fake leaders over and over again. Nothing changes. Suppose they keep winning elections and no one likes these people. How is it? They're asking finally, how is this possible? And yes, it does have something to do with 2030. You want to make sure because Africa is the richest continent on the planet. So without Africa, nothing works. So the
Exactly.
African must remain docile.
Hmm. So
So
it clearly shows you we have someone who was talking about democracy yesterday, shout out to Ruto, of course. So outcomes when people practice democracy, all we have to see is numbers of deaths. There's never, you know, it's never you trying to listen to the people. The response is always shooting people, arresting people, abducting people. That is the system now we're even living in, and openly. Because these things we used to hear them. They used to happen, but you used to hear them from you're like, oh, people were abducted at night, or someone disappeared, they are found dead. But now it's happening on a broad daylight. We're literally dealing with dictatorship that is showing you we're gonna do it and there's nothing you can do about it. So as much as I'm saying, the 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 voice is asked back to us, the people, which is actually the truth, because we still are the majority. Do we have the confidence? Do we have the, how do I say? Are we really prepared to deal with this system? Because what just happened in Tanzania again, this is crazy. We're not
you
talking
have
about
the do
handling
you have the bravery, not the
what
not
is
the
happening.
confidence. Do you have the bravery
Mhm.
because once you start it, you can't stop it. And that's how you know the guy in Madagascar is a real leader because they've always tried to assassinate his ass.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you know he's real because they've always tried to assassinate him because he already told that the people that he knows that run his action will tell, okay, we're gonna let you stay in power, but you must do what we decide that we want you to do. He said, I'm not doing that shit. I'm we had a revolution for the people. Because they already came to him, already said, no, okay, now you overthrew the country now, but no, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna play ball. You're gonna run the country the way we want ran. Blah blah. He said, "Nah, we're not doing none of that. That's the reason why we had a damn coup."
Mhm.
So when he when he refused to do what they told him to do, they tried to they tried to assassinate his ass. So that's how you know what's
Mhm.
going on. So he's going to continue to try to be assassinated because, like
Mhm.
Joey says, one system you're not supposed to know that actually runs the river. All these politicians you see are all phony. It's all kabuki theater. Trump, all of it. It's all kabuki theater. It's all fake. The people behind the scenes run this world, and they want
Exactly.
it ran a certain way for their profit. So when you
Exactly.
break out that system, they're gonna come and see you.
Mhm.
Good, Joe.
Exactly. So we have this lady, as we talk about literally Madagascar and real leadership, because we've seen the mainstream media, which they control, and other puppets, not only talking about
Exactly.
the AI videos coming from Burkina Faso, but trying to paint the whole of the Alliance Sahel state with a negative image on how
Of course.
the current leaders are ruling the country. Which, as we look at, actually, our topic today is about Mali, and where we've seen France warning the citizens to leave the country as soon as possible. These are the same people. And you ask yourself, why is France so much interested in Mali? Why won't you mind your goddamn business? Isn't your country collapsing? Your economy is actually dying. Like, won't you try save your people? Save Europe, my
That's
friend.
that's why that's why they're in Mali because Europe is saved by stealing from Africa, Joby. They don't. There's no resources in Europe. Europe doesn't have anything.
I know, but since Africa is so poor, Africa, Africa this, Africa that, why won't you go handle your own business? Let Africans handle their business.
My business in Africa, where I've been stealing, that made me rich. That's the bit. That's why all the terrorism are there. Shout out to Mali, who's actually told the truth now. It's the French. All these fake terrorists in here getting paid. It's France doing it, of course.
Exactly. They're killing now influencers. We can see there's a Mali TikToker influencer who has been killed just because of supporting the current leadership. We can see, of course, these are now the jihadists who are back killing citizens. If you say you're supporting the current leadership, pow, on your head, on your head. It's like Jesus or Allah or Jesus. It's giving that type shit.
Yeah,
What saying
yeah.
which
Well,
side which
that's,
side
well, that's what it is. But this,
Yeah, because they're saying armed men in Mali
okay,
killed at
war. You
us. We have a lag. I think we have a
Go
lag.
ahead. Go ahead.
The same armed men in Mali killed a TikToker influencer who had posted videos in support of the Western African nation's current military. And this is reports that were coming in yesterday. And she is a young TikToker, and her name was Marine Cassie, and was abducted by armed men on Friday while she was at the weekly market in Echel. And the following day at dusk, the same men brought her back to Independence Square in Tokora and executed her in front of the crowd. So the mayor also of Tonka in the Timbuktu region, Mamadou, confirmed the killing, but said he didn't have more information. So they're going scaring people. Of course, this is to instill fear back in the people. Number one, of course, killing people, so that again, the international shout to the African Union. We have the African Union talking about how we need international actions to be taken in Mali. Of course, we know what is happening right here. If you're trying to still connect the dots, we know what is really, really happening. This is France trying to go back because they were completely kicked out. Not just that their military was dissolved, the UN was kicked out, so they don't have a chance. And that, yes, they're dying because they can't steal resources anymore.
Chairperson of the African Union Commission has expressed concern over the deteriorating security situation in Mali and called for urgent international action. In a statement released this weekend, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf condemned the recent jihadist attacks against civilians in the country. The Al-Qaeda-linked JNIM has increased its assaults across Mali in recent months. The group has also imposed a blockade on Bamako, with fuel trucks unable to enter the capital. The chairperson of the African Union Commission denounced severely worsened humanitarian conditions for civilian populations. He also condemned the abduction of 3 Egyptian citizens by JNIM and called for their immediate and unconditional release. In the past few weeks, several countries, including France and the United States, have urged their nationals to leave Mali. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf called for an international response based on cooperation and intelligence sharing to counter terrorism in the Sahel.
It's crazy. These people, again, we go back to that video I shared yesterday. These people will never stop war. It's in them. They just like causing trouble. It's crazy. But the real things are happening. And shout out to Dr. Arikana. Shout out to the people who have gone to Burkina Faso and witnessed literally the change. And they're coming back and telling people what is really happening, apart from the mainstream media trying to paint negative images about this particular place.
So before I end, let me talk about Burkina Faso too, because I've been there recently, this year. And I'm going there end of this month again. Some people asked me when I came back, why did you go there? There was a coup. So I said, yes, I wasn't there on the day of the coup. I didn't go to Burkina Faso on the day of the coup. But I was invited for the launch of the Sankara Mausoleum. But also I can say in Burkina there is a revolution, and I support progressive revolution.
Exactly. Which is what they don't want. They don't like progressive revolutions. They like revolutions that remain stagnant. They just like seeing people always just yapping and yelling democracy on the road, shooting and killing people. It's like you've watched Squid Game. This system is actually giving Squid Game. For real, for real. It's like in a Squid Game. For real, for real. This is where we have people who are on top, always enjoying other, the citizens dying, just chasing what they really deserve, because they control it all, literally.
Yep.
They're coming to get it. Shoot that one, get rid of that one, and they're laughing and sharing what they are and eating meat and steak. This is exactly what we're dealing with. So they don't like revolutionary democracy. They like what is happening, like in Guinea. Have a coup who takes over from the relative. That is a
Those,
continuation of
those,
nepotism.
are, those are fake coups.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody going at that Mama Dubiali, whatever his name, Mama Dubiali, whatever his name,
Exactly.
because that's a fake coup. Why he's got a white French spy wife? It's fake.
Mm-hmm. turn up with 90 bodyguards. They just laugh at you like a moron, but they're like, so long as he's doing our bidding, we don't care what he does. We get
Exactly.
what we want. So we don't care what he's doing over there. You know.
Country state, country states undeveloped, and the resources go to us and makes us rich. If we give his puppet
Exactly.
And
ass
Chakana,
with his white spy wife a few little shillings, and he keeps his
Hmm.
mouth shut and does what he does. And when he goes off the reservation, then we come to bubble gum his ass. Give another fake coup.
And they love that. They enjoy that. Shout out to that
Yeah,
guy again. Why people are warmongers? They never
yeah,
stick.
you're right. Yes,
They'll
I
just
told you that.
they like shooting on the head. They like blowing heads. I'm on YouTube. Like shit.
Yeah,
They like bubble gumming heads. They like to see bubble popping. It's crazy. Shit.
because you're dealing with a humanized animal. That's why
Mm-hmm.
who
Exactly.
was created
progressive
for war.
leader of our continent who was assassinated. He supported women, he supported unity of the African continent.
Exactly. And supporting when she talks about supporting women, shout out to also the Namibian president who currently she's employed 90% of the people working for her are women. And which is something, if you look at this political system, it's barely there. We don't have women in majority of these top seats. Apart from Samia Suluhu, we don't know who the hell that is. Like this is a demon. Most of the women actually before they get even on this political seat, they have really fought so hard. Shout out to Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai was being tortured by this system for just trying to save
Plant
trees.
trees.
That
Exactly.
is crazy. Like we're dealing with a system that doesn't like women on the top. They like women being obedient. The same bullshit we have
Of
with some
course.
of the African cultures. You do. I'm the man who says you listen, you obey. What about me? I don't have a say. Are you crazy? I don't have a say. What you say is what you goes. You gotta be insane. You better go deal with my grandma or something. It's crazy,
He
man.
supported countries feeding themselves, producing their own food. And they were launching his mausoleum. But also, I can see what they are doing. For me, good governance is about whether you respond to the needs of your population. It's not about anything else. Do you respond to the needs of your population? Are you spending the resources of the country for the benefit of your population?
They don't. That part, especially that part. Oh, they don't like that part. They don't like anyone telling them you're not spending the resources of the country appropriately. They like when the balloon stomach is protruding, call them His Excellency. They like being praised for doing nothing. Okay, they like being given Nobel awards, peace awards for doing nothing for the country, for not even bringing any peace in the country. It's crazy because most of these people get awards for doing nothing. And at the same time, we go back to their net worth. How did you even get there, bro? How even worth millions of dollars and you've done nothing? There's nothing we can. What? You get awarded for just doing nothing? In this world, it only works for politicians for real. It's crazy. It only works for these politicians where you get awarded for doing nothing. That is only how it works.
If you are, that's good governance. If you are not,
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's not good governance. So, for now, I think Burkina is doing well. I'll be there from the 25th to the end of the month because they are holding a big women's conference and many women of the continent are going there. Because they
Read
believe
what Ibram said. That's why they don't want. Ibram said that the women must be educated. School must be free. He said you can't have a real country where women are uneducated. Women don't have a voice. Exactly. You can't. And then you crave it under all these fake traditions and fake religions. He's right because this was always non-African. You brought other people's fake ass customs in your country. Now you call it African. They were never women. African women were never treated to shut up. and don't say anything. That's the fake Islam, the fake Christianity. That was never African. Judge even Touré gave that long speech about women. He said women will not be forced to get married. Women, these are all laws, he said. If you're found violating that law, you will be locked up. Our women will not be abused. Our women will have the choice to make on their own. You can't have talking about you marry off a child. Child marriage is illegal, as it should be. Child mutilation of cutting off your genitals is illegal. So you can't call this no religious nonsense. You're backward and you're stupid. You don't cut no woman genitalia off. All this crazy shit that's been going on.
That they cannot rise as Burkina without women, just as the
Exactly, that's what he
continent
said.
cannot rise without women. I thank you.
But that's what I tried to teach you guys. You can't have a real society when half your population, the majority, women always be the majority, but the majority of your population is impoverished and stupid and backward, no school, no education, because you want to be on top. I'm Miss Excellency, man. Like Joe said, you must do what I tell you. All this crazy shit. You're backward then. Your society's backward. And that's what Africans have been. You've been placed in a backward society. You don't put your women down and don't educate them on so crazy shit because you're afraid if women are educated now they're smarter than you because you're a coward. Go ahead, Joe.
On peace and security, I think peace and security remain the bedrock upon which justice and development must rest. There can be no development where there is war and conflict. But equally, you cannot sustain peace when there is no development.
Exactly. That's why they do it, lady.
So,
And you're at the,
as a
and it sound like you're at the UN. And ladies, the UN was set up to make sure Africa stayed stable. It's a fake organization like the African Union to make sure Africans. Shout out again to Dr. Arcano. Why are you in the UN? Because you should know by now, it doesn't represent African people. It was made to make sure African people stay on the bottom.
She's a former AU chairperson, and of course, most of them, if not fired, especially women, like Dr. Arikana, she was fired because of standing with what is true.
This lady got fired too. Of course. Yeah, because you're not going to open your mouth to go against your white daddy, your white masters, because you're all cowards. Unless you stand up and say enough is enough.
Pay special attention to all the conflicts from the north to the Horn, Eastern DRC, Sudan, which continues to claim lives and livelihoods.
And shout out to Ibram Touré told us, God, I love this young man, telling the truth. He said they've always been trying to wipe us out. Thank God, I've been saying, thank God he came out and told this told the truth. He said these people have always been trying to wipe us out. Always. From the white air to the white. He said they've been trying to wipe us. I've never heard no leader tell the truth in Africa like that ever. He said these people make no mistake. The Wargans, they've always been trying to wipe us out. And that's a fact. Go ahead, Joe.
And then the elderly bear the biggest brunt. We must also reaffirm that peace is not just the absence of war, but it is the presence of justice, development, and freedom. When citizens are listened to, young people are educated and skilled, women are empowered and protected and included in the economy and decision-making in all areas of human endeavor, development becomes sustainable.
Sadly, our women are the most religious nuts we have. And this is, I'd say...
Exactly. And that's why they focus it on the women. Exactly, Joe. And that's why they focus it on the women. Exactly.
Because again, like you say, they pass it to the children, and this is why we have a society that grows up with because the woman again is the one who nurtures the
Exactly.
so it goes to the kids. And then
Exactly.
about them not being given education. This is something that is still applying in some of the communities. When you talk about some of these cultures and traditions that are so backward, where women are not educated, you're married off at a very early age because the men. This is why you can see actually when you talk about also which gives you an understanding of how Africans the women are very fertile. A man can literally impregnate a woman like I don't know, even 50 times, so long as, until they get what they want. And the majority has to be girls. Because I remember, like, a good example, my dad, every time my siblings could get born and it's a girl, he used to be very happy, like, oh, that is wealth over there. I'm like, what the hell do you mean by wealth? And until it knocked my head, I'm like, the dowry, the dowry. Because every time he could introduce me to someone older,
Exactly.
he's talking about is this just give me this number of cows. Like, why are you selling me out like a goat, bro? I'm not in this. I'm on the market. I'm not something you can just sell to people telling, oh, this amount of cows, this is enough to some fucked up person. But this is what has been ruling most of the
Yeah. It's disrespectful. That's why I tried to teach you guys, and you guys got mad at me. I said it's disrespectful. It's a shameful culture. It's disrespectful to women.
And communities resilient. Civil society organizations must work hand in hand with the Pan-African Parliament in mediating dialogue, promoting early warning, and peace building from the ground up. The Pan-African Parliament must serve not only as a legislative voice, but as a moral conscience, urging our governments towards good governance.
That should be the work of the African Union, because that is what the African Union should be doing, but they don't do none of that. And when you talk about the
Don't forget the Pan African Congress is part of AU, Joe. That's part of it. That's why they don't do nothing. So she just advocates for do nothing shit. He think it's all do nothing nonsense. She should know that, but she just keep it as we should do this, and they'll never do it because it's a do nothing. It's a fake organization.
But she's not addressing the AU. She's talking about where we need to build a Pan-African parliament.
No, she's talking about they already have one, Joey. It's part of the AU. That's what she's talking about. She said, don't look, it's a Pan African parliament, Joey. It's part of the AU. That's what she's talking about. That's yeah.
But she has a point. She does have a point, or the same thing I keep on talking about, because when it comes to matters of decision making, one country should not be making decision while there's a whole board and a whole organization where you can discuss this matter as a continent, see how beneficial it applies to every country before
They
you
don't
make
have
any.
any power. They don't have any
I
power.
know.
You think these dictators listen to some goofy Pan African Congress? No.
That is why the Alliance Sahel state is moving forward, because that's
Yeah, that's
when
why
it
I said
comes
we're getting out of these fake.
to
Yeah, that's why I said we're getting out of these fake organizations. They're fake.
the strategy is that when Burkina Faso kicked out Mali, the rest did the same. When they kicked out the UN peacekeepers, the rest did the same. The inclusivity on making decisions together, that is exactly what she's talking about and what I'm talking about. Because I understand these people don't have power to do it. They want the white man again, like I said, he likes to see some bubble gums. He doesn't care how many years you've served him, how many years you've been stealing for him. They don't even give a shit. That's the crazy part.
Sure
They don't
don't.
give a damn shit. They use you. Again, if you've not watched Squid Game, go watch Squid Game. They use you, and at the end of the day, they get rid of you. Or you get too depressed, you might even delete yourself. It depends, but because you're like, oh, what was all this for? It depends. Some depends.
Exactly.
So,
When you got
Rooted.
when you got the right definition. That's why the Squid Game. The guy made it. He's talking about the world. Exactly. That's how the real world works.
Of the people and sustainable development and unity of the African continent. Kwame Nkrumah, I quote him about unity, because without unity, this continent will never reach its full potential. He said, I quote, divided we are weak, and we are weak.
Exactly, which we were talking about Ubuntu yesterday, when I was starting my show yesterday, when that white guy talked about why people lack Ubuntu because they don't have humanity. And then Shatu, of course, the African young man who went deeper explaining how why they don't have Ubuntu. And I went explaining what Ubuntu means. It comes in different phrases, literally coming from especially different regions of Africa, but it still goes back to one term: togetherness, one people. You are because I am, literally, which comes with kindness, humility,
You are
thoughtfulness.
because I am because you are. That's Africa. And that's why it was in all areas in Africa. What no, did you have countries in all areas? Ubuntu is African.
Hmm. But today we don't have that. So sadly, we're dealing
No,
with leaders who don't have that, and they don't even give a shit about what is that. They don't give a shit the fact that this is not even taught in school. We taught about Kikuyus are better than Luos. Luos perform better than Kikuyus. Eat some head fish, you become clever. Those type of bullshit is what we're taught. We're not even again
wow,
talking.
that's crazy.
Uh,
Wait. You taught that in school?
yeah, we
You
taught.
taught that you taught that tribal bullshit in the school?
No, like it comes with it happens, like I've said, the tribalism runs deeper in when it comes to the system of schools, where if we have and this is nothing to do with tribalism. If you're clever, you're clever. If you're dumb, you're dumb. But
That's
you
why I
find
just said that. That's what I'm saying. Why would you be
you'll
taught some shit like that in school?
you'll
That's
find
tribal.
let's say
Like,
maybe for me performing better, and we have, like, let's say, like the top 3 students or the top 10 students, all of them maybe come from uh the same tribalism or same tribe. Now the teacher
okay.
starts to divide or use that as an attack. Oh, you see, Luos are very clever. Oh, Kikuyus
See,
are the dumbest. Oh, this and this and this. Or you
but see,
describe
because
every time
because
some bird.
you've been taught by people that are tribal. You've been taught by morons who have not put that. Africans are being taught by morons. It shouldn't be teachers. I told you, you got to break down. Oh, that's what I get the dummy critical. You got to break down the whole system of this nonsense. You can't be allowed to be a teacher. You're too backward and stupid. It has nothing to do with tribe being if somebody's smart, somebody's not. That's an individual thing, not a tribal thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
United Africa could become one of the greatest forces for good in the world.
But they
Close.
won't. They won't. That is just not the agenda. But she goes ahead
Exactly. They
on.
won't, and because again, because I'm not going no disrespect. You're too weak and cowardly. Let's make in Africa, it's the same old weak shit. It's of you African stuff. Could be one of the voices of the world. No, you won't, because you don't know about power. Nobody cares about your goofy ass speeches and your soft spoken bullshit. You didn't say nothing about getting power.
Hmm.
Without power, none of that shit's possible. You're the
Exactly.
only people that, and shout out to the Chinese man, just another time, that you Africans don't never go for power. And you don't. You listen to Millie Mouth women like this talking stupid shit. And we could be, and this to be, but you've been giving these dumbass speeches for 100 years. It ain't shit changed.
It's crazy.
You better get power. Yeah, exactly.
It is crazy. But as we literally get closer to winding up, as we go back to Mali and what is happening, like I said, we have the same United Nations, the same African Union she's calling. These are the same people contributing to the destabilization of Africa, because we're talking about an organization that is not funded by Africans themselves, but funded and controlled by the white person.
How about that? How
The
about that?
rules are still the same. The game is still the same. The nothing is different. Nothing changes, and that is how it's going to remain until we have people like Burkina Faso. We have people like Ibrahim Traore, daring to be different and say, no matter what, this is what we're gonna do. She's very truthful by saying that revolution is not a revolution if there is nothing being changed about the old norm, literally, if I'm putting it
Exactly. It's a fake. It's a fake coup, not a revolution. It's
exactly.
a guinea.
Mhm.
It's a gabon. It's a fake coup, Joe. Fake.
Exactly.
Nothing
Mhm.
changed. Revolution means absolute change. And as even
Exactly.
to erase it, we are revolutionary. This is a revolution. All goes out. All must change. This is the revolution that the people wanted. All
Exactly.
must change. All must go.
Hmm. Exactly. A revolution where people are listened to, a revolution where we've seen our resources being used
For you.
very well. We can see the benefit of our resources because, like I said from the beginning, looking at the address or the meeting that is happening about the COP 30 addressing climate change and the bullshit I was reading about Bill Gates providing $1.4 billion is because he's concerned about Africa and what is Africa's agriculture in future. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? He's
Exactly.
so concerned
Not concerned about your agriculture, concerned about wiping your ass. Why you give me fake food that cause cancer? Those other
now.
shit. Why you always focus on that? Why don't you focus on white people who are starving in America? Because it's
Mhm.
all a scam.
We'll say that the first concern should be you giving us our lands back that you still actually fully control. For example, like I've said, Kenya, the British colonial system still has the highest percentage of land and controls our tea, our
Exactly.
cotton, our coffee. We don't
And
benefit from
yeah,
none of
exactly. If you got freedom and democracy, why haven't you took back the lands that were stolen?
exactly. It's crazy. So it's a fake system that is completely running Africans. But the question goes back, I think Kit said it very well. Do we have the bravery? If we're going fully for change, do we have the bravery? Because again, we've seen dictatorship, but the dictatorship we've been seeing, I think personally, what I'm witnessing in my era, it's crazy. We've grown up hearing about it, just in the shallowest way you can hear about it. You say, oh, these politicians are dangerous, or they do this and this and this. But now, again, it's on the day broad light. They're stealing election, they are killing people, they're abducting people, they're passing
Exactly.
laws that actually don't favor you, and go still ahead on
Exactly.
the media and lie on your goddamn face as you watch them. Or we are 37 million people who came to vote, and we won 97% of this election. As a matter of fact, we had 17 presidential candidates who are also lined up, and other people voted for them. But I happen to be the winner. I mean, it on the broad daylight, they go and lie, despite you saying this and this is not. Are you kidding me? Do we have the bravery? That is the right term to face these people, because we're really dealing with a real squid game. It's either you play the game, and you have to be very clever on how you're playing the game, because I think season two.
I sent you a video. I want you to share a video. I sent you the video, Joby. On your TikToks. I couldn't phone. Yeah, I want you. The young lady from Tanzania. The government shot. The FBI came to her and told her. FBI said, your government of Tanzania put a hit out on you through the Mexican, because the FBI would know this because they control all these other drug through the Mexican cartel, Joby, which is brutal, right? That's why I told you look at goddamn Ozarks. So the Mexican, the Tanzanian government has went to the Mexican cartel, because the lady's in America, and told the Mexican cartel to kill that Tanzanian blogger. They put a hit out on her for $30 million.
God damn, that's
Yeah, she
crazy.
thought. Yeah, she's on this. How they came to the that came not to do it. They got all the intelligence. Not said, "Ma'am, Tanzania government put a hit out on you through the
Mhm.
Mexican cartel, and this is real for $30 million. They're gonna kill you." That's how wicked and evil this state government is. They went to a known drug cartel to kill this lady. That's how you know this. You're like, wow, this is crazy.
I see it. It's the last one. Let me.
Joby, what happened?
No, I'm saying it's the last one. I was getting my phone. It was charging.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to the bathroom.
No, it was charging at the back. Let me see.
Mm. Yeah, I couldn't understand all of it because you talking in Swahili. I said, "Hey, I need Joby to translate this shit."
Um, so slow.
Of course, we all know what a hit is. Hit means a contract to murder. There's a contract that this evil ass wicked broad went to the Mexican cartel to kill this woman. It's a hit. It means a contract, an assassination contract on her head to kill her ass. And they're going to do it. They went to a legal organization of the Mexican drug runners, cartels, to unalive this lady.
Damn, phone is hanging. Just a minute.
Take your time. This is absolutely crazy. You can't make this. You're talking about evilness at a level you can't fathom. And you can't fathom how wicked these African governments are. Because people know you're dictators. I got like they say, I got 97% of the vote. And it was all these candidates you're talking about. Sounds
Imagine
crazy as that shit.
there are 17 candidates. I'm like, you had the one
Locked,
famous
locked
opposition.
up.
You're like 17. What? You can lie. Like these people can really lie. That is not.
Tanzania was so bad, even the other fake African leaders were laughing. Like, well, stop laughing. That's why the other ones didn't even congratulate her. Like, this is absolutely crazy. I can't even. We know we all corrupt, but goddamn, I can't even get behind this craziness. And shout out to Zambia going after their fake ass puppets too. All
Okay,
these puppets. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
a minute. There we go. I don't know if it's just our phones. TikTok does act up sometimes on these phones. It's crazy. It could just be hanging. It's not responding.
Yeah, mine does that too. Shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's your phone. I think it's TikTok shit. Mine does that all the damn time.
Okay, there we go.
And fuck, they can kill me. That's the least of my problem. Kama mtakumbuka ile, I don't know, 2 weeks ago wakati naenda DC nilisimamishwa na FBI wakiniwarn kwamba I'm in danger nisiende kwenye ile maandamano ya DC. Alafu nilivyorudi nikawa na mkutano nao Monday ya ile. Kwa hiyo nikawaelezea kila kitu. Nachokifanya nikawaelezea kwamba mimi na expose tu corruption ya government na yani nimewaonyesha tu Watanzania kodi zao zinavyotumika na wanavyoibiwa kwa ushahidi, na mimi nikasuggest to deal with this, yafanyike maandamano ya kumuondoa Samia. Hicho ndio kitu nilichokifanya. Kwa tukawa tumeishia hapo, wakawa satisfied na information hizo hapa, akina wakaniambia be careful kwa sababu intelligence yetu ni kwamba
Remember in Tanzania not in Tanzania, but in the States, we had some Tanzanians as well who are demonstrating. And she says she wanted to fly out and go literally help the people also for their voice to be listened, so that, showing that unity where all Tanzanians can see what is happening back in the country. And before she could go, or before traveling, she was called and warned that she's in danger and they've put a target on her. So when she was asked literally what is happening, she said all she did is just raise the voice. She's just been exposing corruption and told the people to go march on the streets to remove Samia Suluhu on the presidential seat.
Serious, wanaenda kuumiza. So be careful. So leo asubuhi, about I think just 1 hour ago, FBI ndo wamenipa habari, wameniambia there is a hit out on you. Mexican cartel wameshakuwa contracted na serikali ya Tanzania waje waku take out. So so we just have to let you know Mexican cartel wameshapewa hiyo kazi. So guys, nikidisappear nikinini, that's what happened to me, but to tell you the truth, I couldn't care less. I don't even give a fuck. I don't give one fuck. They can kill me. That's the least of my problem.
Yeah, so that is what is happening. And she's confidently saying she doesn't care. And that is what is happening. Shatu Mange Kimambi, that is her name. And yeah, remember they also said that she should be arrested because how dare she with her influence. She's telling people to do something and they do it. Because people can see what is happening. We're not just following. She's not a
exactly. They're not just following her because she said something. They know that the place is corrupt. And what you've been doing. You're trying to shut up like it's going to stop what's going on. No. Your behavior is going to stop what's going on. You tell you're talking about. Because they're so autocratic. They're so corrupt. They're so fucked up. They're so used to being able to. These African nations are so used to being able to steal from their people. And the docility. That's what that lady said on Tariq. The docility has been known in Africa. The docility is crazy. And that's changing. The youth are saying no more docility. We're not our parents. We're not our grandparents. We're not going to sit by and just be told stupid shit.
Period. I love this. There's a quote I keep saying, and Shwani and Iwaton keep laughing and they love it. Let the old people be told the truth, because that is just the truth. Our old generation, some of them, and I'd say majority of them, they don't like the truth. These are the same people who are easily
because they're docile, Joe. They're docile. That's what they've been known. That's the fact.
They don't want to hear anything to do with the religion. When you tell them religion is a lie, they don't want to hear that. They're not even ready for that conversation. I saw a video that was going viral on TikTok from Kenya. Someone said, the day I'm going to tell my parents the truth about religion, they're going to collapse and die, because these people are not ready for that.
You should have shared that video.
It was just like a quote, he used the song, then he quoted there, I'm gonna tell my parents the truth about this religion. They're gonna collapse and die, and that is just the truth when it comes to majority of our older generation. They don't want that conversation. Personally, I was attacked for just saying, heaven and hell is not real. During this weekend, and some people are like, how dare you? I'm just participating on the question on what is happening. Like, how dare you? This is my thoughts. You keep on praying. I didn't tell you, no, don't pray to Jesus. This is okay. If you think there's heaven and hell, then I'm here to witness it when the time comes. But there's none for now. We live in it. The real hell is the white people. The real heaven is us, because we have heaven. They're living in hell. Without the heaven, they're burning there. It's crazy. But anyway, family, that's how we come to the end of today's conversation. I think I came so early, so people are gonna be catching up this on a replay, but only for this week because Kamlesh is not in. But have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day.
It's so early. Nobody have been here.
But we're going to be catching this on a replay. For those who always leave their comments, their likes, we appreciate you. Subscribe if it is your first time. And of course, enjoy in the conversation. But much love. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. Your closing remarks as a wind up.
My closing remarks is that, like I said, the docility that you morons think is still there, it's not. You're not gonna withstand all these next generations of African youth. It's just gonna get worse. You're gonna be swept out of office. And then I guess if the African youth are gonna have to we're gonna say something you're not gonna be willing to say, African youth. You're gonna have to put some bubble gum to some families. You're gonna have to wipe these people out. You're gonna put some bubble gum. Okay? You can't allow the families to stay. They're gonna have to be bubble gum.
You got a Squid Game.
Squid Game. Yeah. It's gonna be Squid Game. So when you got the stomach to take power, Squid Game. You ever had the right analogy? It's Squid Game. That was the perfect analogy. It's some Squid Game shit.
Literally. Well, have yourself a beautiful day, family. See you guys later on the reaction time and, of course, on the Africa Today show. The what on coming back with money on the network and on the radio with the Beauty Bank Countdown. See what's happening.
Siweza nikuweza pale niko sikutakia mabaya